And then the last dream I had, dream 3, from my mother. This is probably the most wild dream. She had a dream. Carl Jung once said, "He who looks outside dreams, he who looks inside awakens." And right now, there's a powerful message that your subconscious wants you to decode. There's something going on in your life right now that your subconscious is trying to tell you either the answer to or a sign on how to navigate this change that you're going on in your life right now. And I'm hoping by sharing this dream I'm about to tell you, it gives you a little insight on how to do yourself. Because chances are you've had a recurring dream that's been happening. I don't know why, but I'm just sensing that. Or maybe it's a dream that seemingly didn't make sense, but has stuck with you and resonated with you, and you haven't been able to stop thinking about it. So mine, for example, it sounds a little silly, but it actually has some profound truth to it. I've been having this dream almost weekly of going to the barber, getting my haircut, my normal haircut, and then by the time it's done with, I look like my old self from like a year or two ago, where I had like a tight fade. It was like that whole like CR7 kind of look, like the tight fade and the side part. Even like the buzz cut. Sometimes, like a few years ago, I had that, and each time I have the dream, it produces one of those haircuts for myself, and I look in the mirror and think, all right, it looks nice, but I instantly regret getting the haircut, and because I lost like the hair that I've grown out now, which I've come to like because it's low maintenance, it's free, it's flowy, but this isn't a haircut video. This isn't a style video. This is a video about analyzing our dreams. So what that means is, when I looked deeper into it, right now I'm in a period of my life where I don't cling to structure anymore. I don't need to know what happens next in my life. Right now, my focus and my priority is building up my energy, my spiritual currency, and just letting life flow through me. And I think that's embodied in the hairstyle too, like the flow. I never had it this long where it just kind of just flows naturally, and it's a nice thing when you go into the ocean and it just like it starts curling up nice and wavy, and you don't even have to style it in the morning. You just get up and it naturally looks good. That was nothing I was able to ever do when I had my hairstyle so tight, structured, and faded. I'd have to wake up, I'd have to spend 10 minutes styling it, and having to keep up with it too, every 10 days going back to the barber. Dougie, if you're watching this, I love you. That's my barber. He actually was an inspiration for some of this video. He actually told me when I got my last haircut, he said, dude, he's like, I don't know what it is, but you are completely different than what you were 6 months ago. So like, you carry yourself with this different type of aura that is just so much more relaxed and trusting. And that's the word there, it's trust. Because right now, I have this unbreakable trust, not only in myself, but in God, that things are in alignment for me. And in that dream of getting rid of, that the longer hair, that also meant to me subconsciously getting rid of that trust and going back to structure of having to be in a corporate role where you have, a fancy title on a business card, you have a salary, you have benefits, you have all these things that make you feel safe, which, don't get me wrong, isn't a bad thing. But sometimes I think we fall into that false sense of security. And I smile because it's not secure at all, believe it or not. And I've learned that through working in my years in corporate America. I've seen people that were very hardworking. They've done nothing wrong. They kept their head down, but a company decides to just make layoffs or cut-offs, and suddenly that person's gone because they're the highest tenured, they're also the highest paid, and they have to start cutting there. So all that safety and comfort that they got from the steady income, the 401k, just like that, it's gone because they were lulled into a false sense of security, and that's what's dangerous. I think of this concept in martial combat. You think of a prime Conor McGregor. The reason he hit so freaking hard was because he did such a great job of lulling you into a false sense of security. Sean O'Malley was pretty good at this too. They have that hands down style. They kind of box close with you, where you think you're close enough to hit them, but all they do is take one step back and lay the lights out. And it's false sense of security that gets us into the most trouble. And what I've learned is in this new period of my life is, ironically, when I don't have security, right? Like right now I have no benefits. Like I have my 401k that I've developed in my corporate years, but like right now I haven't been contributing to that. And, you know, a culmination of all these things that would make me feel unsafe, maybe should make me feel unsafe. It's a very freeing feeling. And I've noticed, because I'm so spiritually in tune and aligned now, that my presence isn't even pervading just the physical anymore. It's actually entering the spiritual realms of other people, which is crazy. Stick with me for a second. It's not only me that's been having these dreams. It's actually people that are close to me, my own father and my own mother. Right now, I'll tell you quickly both of those. My father had a dream that I was YouTube famous. And what's crazy about that is because I didn't even tell him I was doing YouTube. He just sensed that I was moving in a new direction. And then he told me that dream. And I tried to pry more out of him so I could do my thing and try to analyze the dream. But he said, I couldn't tell you. I just remember you were famous. And it's because like you were giving people advice that truly changed them. And I got chills down my spine. I was like, holy shit, like how does he know that? Because I didn't even tell him I was doing that, which signals to me that this transformation that I'm going through is something that is pervading the physical. It's piercing right through into the spiritual realm, which is where we experience our dreams. And then the last dream I had, dream 3 from my mother. This is probably the most wild dream. She had a dream that I was married to my ex-girlfriend and that she was pregnant with my child. And at first glance, I was like, that's a wild dream. And I had initially just thought that maybe it was because I'm at that age now, I'm 27, where kids my age are starting to get married, maybe even have kids, which is a beautiful thing. But I look one step further than that, because this dream happened the day after my father's dream that I just told you about. And I looked at that and thought, what could that possibly mean? We'll start with the baby, right? That signals to me creation, because, you know, something aside, I've been on retention for about 6 months now. And rather than using that energy to create life like it's biologically intended, I'm creating something else, which is a life that I want, which is a space where I could speak my mind, my experiences for you to learn. And I trust that this is what's going to bring me the audience and the eyes that my father saw in his dream. And what's crazy is why it was my ex-girlfriend that had my baby. It was because of this. I'm using the old experiences of my life, the ex, to birth something new through transmutation, through lessons, through teachings. And I sat and thought about how beautiful that imagery and that symbolism was. If that hasn't connected with you, maybe it's because you aren't looking at your dreams deep enough. I encourage you to look at your dreams deeper. Go past the veil of just the images. There's a story, there's a deep message hidden underneath that your subconscious is trying to teach you, because your thoughts are just clouds in the sky. They pass and they go, they aren't necessarily real. But your dreams, especially recurring ones, those are tides in the ocean. Those are pulling you in, they're inviting you to learn more about yourself. So that would be your assignment, is to trust those tides, let them pull you in, and let them teach you what they want to teach you. Because I promise if you listen, you'll find out more about yourself than ever. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a beautiful day.